Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Boxing. I'm Leti.
I'm LB.
And how about we get into one of the hundreds of fights we saw this weekend?
Yeah, a lot of boxing.
But this one showed nothing but skill in the ring. So we had Shakur Stevenson out of Newark, New Jersey.
AKA Mr. Untouchable. AKA I can hit you, but you can't hit me.
Okay. Versus Shuichiro Yoshino out of Japan. So tell us about the fight. What you think about it? Did it go as you thought?
Man, you know what? I'm gonna say it just like this. It was just like, us Mortal Kombat players. This is what you call a flawless victory. That's what it was.
Man, Shakur looks so good. And remember how we were talking about, I thought you had said that Shakur was gonna knock him out. I was like, you think he's gonna knock him out? But hey, he said, he was telling Yoshino, you're gonna see what my power was in the ring. And how did he win? Knockout. TKO.
And you know what he did? He beat him up.
He of course he did. His little slogan. But man, he looked, like you said, flawless in that ring. I swear, when he was coming in, it's like, okay, if any fighter, that's who I'm betting my house on. Like, that's the fighter. He was so impressive. We said he's got his defense, he got his offense, and it was just, the ring IQ was there, and everything was just
and it seemed, it was and he was right there in the pocket, just making him miss and making him pay. It just seemed like he was just 1 and 2 steps ahead of Yoshino. No matter, it's like he knew what he was gonna do before he actually did it. Whether it be with the jab, and then he had success throwing that straight left hand followed by the right hook. And, he was just catching him, and, he was catching him, coming forward, and, he pretty much had everything going. He was throwing that straight left to the body, and we saw that counter left hand. We talked about it in our previous video. He sometimes, he tends to get a little wild and lunge, and Shakur made him pay for it and sat him down.
Yeah, and, they did stop. I forgot what round they stopped it.
I can't remember.
They stopped the fight, but I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. But there was a lot of fights that the refs did stop this weekend. But if any, I feel like this one could have probably gone a little longer. But I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, and even Shakur was like, I wanted the ref to let it go a little longer, and then he said I was going to put him out.
He did say that.
So, and Yoshino he didn't think that it should have been stopped either. I think he could have let it go. But man, but the ref was like, man, I'm not seeing this guy land anything. And Shakur just landing just crisp, sharp punches, accurate. And it was like, and he was like, man, this guy, the ref probably looking like, man, this guy he ain't landing nothing.
It's just like punching. He was kind of punching just kind of the air. He just couldn't get to Shakur. And the way he kept trying to step out with his left foot, I believe it was, to try to get, on a southpaw. It seemed like it took a lot. Like you could tell a lot that he was trying to step over a heck of high to get on the outside to try to get to Shakur.
It didn't matter. A lot of fighters always say, that. I can do, whatever I want in there. And Shakur literally did any and everything he wanted in there. He walked him down at times. He fought off the back foot. He sat and traded. He was right there in the pocket. Had the man, like you said, swinging at the air.
He looked spectacular.
Yeah, and also, for him to be at 135, he looked good at 135. He looked filled in. And I'm going to say it like this, like, it looked like, his power is there. It looks like he looks a lot stronger than he did at 130. And, it made me remember, because I remember one fighter who, sparred with Devin Haney. And he said that, he said that he thinks that Devin Haney's going to be stronger as he moves up because, he's given so much of himself to make the weight. And I think that's what happened with Shakur, too, because the way that he was reacting to Shakur's punches and and his power, even the fighters at 130 weren't reacting like that. So I definitely think he's punching a lot harder at 135.
Yeah.
And I think this is another. The other thing about Shakur is like, I feel like he doesn't get credit for his opponents simply for the way that he makes it look so easy and he beats them. And And because when you look at it, I feel like when you want to know how good his opponents are, you can't look at him fight against Shakur, because Shakur he just levels above a lot of fighters, and you know he just makes them look like that. And I say that to say this. You know, we looked at, you know, he fought Nakatila, and he beat Nakatila, and then Nakatila, what did he do? He went out and just beat Burchell easy. We look when he fought Joet Gonzalez. Joet Gonzalez couldn't even touch him for the fight. And then he goes in there with Navarrete and gives Navarrete his best fight. You know, and then if you look at even his last one with Robson Conceição, where he just dominated Robson Conceição, but in Robson Conceição's last fight against Oscar Valdez, people thought he won. So I say that says I don't think you're going to get credit for this, even though, you know, I think that this was a good opponent, but just Shakur is just that dude.
Yeah, and then again, this is only his first fight at 135. I think the next one is going to be probably a bigger name because, like they said, a lot of people didn't know Yoshino, but like it was just the first fight. Yeah. So this next fight is only going to keep getting with the bigger names in that division. And people, he already calling people out if you guys saw it. And I know people want that fight also, but do you want to get into that?
Yeah, let's get into it.
I mean, who do you think he's because there's honestly there's just so many fights at that division that it's like who's got next?
I mean, well, you know, he after the fight he called out Devin, you know, pretty much called out Devin Haney and was like, hey, let's fight. And I'm gonna say this. I love that fight. You know, I you know, we've talked all the time. You know, the three that I've always wanted to see mix it up have been Tank, Devin Haney, and Shakur. And so I would love that fight. I just don't know if that fight's gonna actually happen next. I don't anticipate it, just for the simple fact of, you know, Devin's undisputed, and he made it very clear. You know, like, hey, I'm a free agent after this. And we already know, I feel like he's going straight for Tank because that's what he's been calling for the longest.
They've had that friction too.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that's pretty much his last thing to do at 135. So I think he's going to try to do that, and if not, move up. But I mean, that him and Shakur, I would love that fight. And we know we're gonna get it too.
Yeah, we say that's gonna be a chess match. Yeah. That fight's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah.
But let's see. In reality, though, at 135, who do we think he's got next in that division?
See, I was thinking about that too, because it's like top rank, right?
Turn him down.
Yeah, and it's like, and I feel like all the 135ers are just not gonna be on that side of the street because, like I just mentioned, you know, Devin's gonna go. I think that he's gonna go after that Tank fight. And then, you know, he's fighting Lomachenko, and I don't know if that's I don't know if Shakur's gonna want that fight if Lomachenko loses. You know, then it's not as sexy of a fight. And then the only other fighter, you know, that I know that's on top rank is Jermaine Ortiz.
That's exactly who I was about to say. I think that's actually a fight that might happen next for him. I really think that that's gonna happen next. As we know, with Jermaine Ortiz, he was already. I feel like he knows something that's going to happen next between them because he's talking about that fight now.
He wanted that fight too.
He was before he fought Loma. He was like, "No, I got a big name." You know, people were saying like, "You know, are you sure you're gonna get to this big name?" Whoop de whoop. And next thing you knew, that the fight got announced between them. So I think that that's in the works after this fight. And I think that would be a good one too.
That would be a pretty good fight.
And I think that's probably the only one that's kind of next in line. Before he gets to the other ones, because again, we have Pitbull Cruz that turned his fight down, and then there was another name also that turned him down.
Yeah, and Cepeda too over there at Golden Boy.
Although that would be a really good one, I would love to see that.
Let's kind of talk about that fight because we were talking about these names. The real matchup I would love to see him fight is Pitbull Cruz. Like I want to see that fight so bad. If he can't get the if he can't, you know, of course, if not the Devin Haney fight. And I say that to say, the reason why I'm saying that is because, look, I just mentioned the fact that Shakur Stevenson, you know, when he fights people, you know, he doesn't get that respect because, you know, he makes them look a certain way.
He makes it look easy.
And, you know, he makes those fighters look so much less of themselves when they're in the ring. Now, Pitbull Cruz fought a guy named Tank, and it's almost the exact opposite.
Who? I don't think we know.
Yeah, a guy named Tank. And, you know, Tank's opponents are a little different. You know, Tank's opponents, you know, they have, you know, I feel like he gets, you know, credit for these guys. They're looking good when they're fighting Tank until it's over. Yeah. You know, so I would love to see that, you know, so that way, you know, we can see that comparison of how Shakur would fight him. And then, you know, I think it would make that fight even bigger in the future, considering that they're both going to be at 35.
Yeah.
You know, with Devin probably moving up.
Pitbull, take that damn
Come
fight.
on, Pitbull, man.
I was so disappointed that he didn't take that fight.
Yeah.
Like, you know Shakur is one of the tops. Like, fight him.
Yeah. It'll be pressure. You know, that pressure come for a fighter versus the boxer.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see how Shakur could take that pressure fighter. Because I know they said Valdez was that, but you got someone like Pitbull Cruz that is just non-relentless or whatever that word is called.
And Pitbull can crack too.
So I like to see that.
Yeah.
Just, so we can just see another side of him. But
yeah, we might need the sanctioning bodies to get involved to make that fight happen, because since it's on two sides of the street. But yeah, that's definitely one we want to see.
Obviously, we know it can happen.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
yeah, that's all we got. A flawless victory from a special fighter.
Special.
It's Shakur. Can't touch this Stevenson. But that's all we got. Let us know below what you guys thought of the fight, and definitely let us know below who you guys want to see him fight next. But that's all we got. So thanks for tuning in, y'all.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Or talk your shit. And we out.